I'm recording.
You Welp us in.
Yeah. Well, here we are on YouTube.
Yes, Nathan, what have we got here?
Have you heard of the OCs before?
No, I haven't. In fact, it's a little bit confusing. So this is a Patreon request from Mushtoon. The band is called OCs. But they've released under different monikers. So it's the same band or the same guy named John Dwyer. So he's the main dude since the beginning, since 1997 to currently. But he's had a rotating guests of different drum players. I guess only a couple basses. That's pretty good. He's had a keyboard dude with him. Who's also, I guess, shared vocal duties. It's all kind of confusing. I'm just looking at the Wikipedia timeline as I say this. So
I feel like we've reacted to John Dwyer before. Like, that name sounds familiar.
Maybe Mushtoon can tell us in the Discord chat. So yeah, come join our Discord, guys. It's free, and when you're a patron, you get to watch us live and talk to us while we do your requests. That's something we offer that no other channel does, or very few.
Things like what we eat.
Yes.
And
all that kind
how
of stuff.
often we fart and burp
And they've been a band since 2015. Sorry, they've had the current lineup since 2015. So that's pretty cool. So the last 6-7 years, they've been the same lineup. So they've had names as OCS, the OCs, with the O and C's together, the O space C's, the OCs, OCs, and OSEES OCs. They got some very interesting album names here: Sucks Blood, Castlemania, Warm Slime, Drop. Anyways, this song is from the album Face Stabber. and in our video here, Nathan, that picture with that orc doing what, I don't know what it's doing, but that's actually their album cover for this album, Face Stabber.
he's stabbing someone in the face.
Maybe he's about to stab someone, or he's about to get stabbed. Anyways, they're considered to be progressive rock or psychedelic rock. This album is 80 minutes long.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah, but the song we're going to listen to is
The Daily Heavy. That was my dog.
Okay, I thought you farted.
That's my dog.
What's the name of the song? I can't.
The Daily Heavy.
Oh, it's the opening track. Okay, The Daily Heavy. All right, here we go.
Okay.
I'm curious what they sound like.
I am too.
An easy time in the world of unknown. Bluetooth Dawson, please report to the team making station.
Before you start, I have a question for you.
Okay.
And let it be known that I thought of this before I researched it.
Okay.
Who does he sound like? Who does he remind you of?
Oh. Don't know.
Who could you see him sharing the same stage with at a music festival?
Probably Buckethead.
I thought of Buckethead as well. Yeah, it was the sound effects and kind of the zaniness, kind of craziness. Who else?
Oh, I don't know.
King Gizzard.
Yeah.
Now,
No. I got something to say about this, but I'll wait till
no, and so this is obviously experimental. It's different than that you and I listen to. But I think if you and I didn't listen to King Gizzard, for me personally, I should speak for myself. If I wasn't familiar with King Gizzard the way I am, though I'm still very new, I would say I'd be more off put by this. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but because my mind has been expanded to the sounds of King Gizzard and and Buckethead for that matter. This doesn't, like, I'm not shocked, or like I can actually kind of listen to the experimental sounds, what's going on, and see what the artist is doing more than I would have maybe a year ago. However, check this out. This guy is very prolific, and I actually have a little bit of respect, or just I find him fascinating. He's 47. His name is John Dwyer. He's from Providence, Rhode Island, and he actually founded his own record company called Castle Face Records. Mm-hmm. And guess who was one of the artists that were signed under Castle Face Records?
Buckethead?
King Gizzard.
What?
Yeah. So it's interesting how I thought of King Gizzard, searched this guy out. He started his own record label, and I don't know. I know they're under Flightless right now, I believe is their record company, but at some point there was an association between this guy. I don't know the whole history because I didn't want to waste time doing a timeline analysis, but there was a time that King Gizzard was associated with this record label. Enough that Wikipedia said so. And also, yeah.
Okay.
That was so then what are your thoughts on the song itself? Or anything? Sorry, Nathan. Yeah.
So, okay. Whenever I listen to a song, I start making kind of like decisions as we start kind of peeling away the layers, right? I go, at the first level, I'm kind of like, is this something where I'm like, do I enjoy the listening experience? Yes or no? Not that has to be yes in order for me to keep listening, but if I'm kind of like, if it's a no, then I'm kind of like, okay, well then what are the other levels that I can start appreciating the music on rather than just an enjoyment level? Does that make sense?
Right.
So it's a no in terms of enjoying the song. It became a no. And then I was like, okay, so at what level now is it art? Can I appreciate it from an artistic level? And then, yes, I could. There were times where I was like, there's parts of this song where I'm like, oh, I like that sound, or I like that beat, or I like, the riffing that he's starting to do. But then there was parts where I'm like, but it drags on for so long, and it doesn't have the tightness. Like when I think of what I like about King Gizzard is there's musical things about King Gizzard that is pleasing to listen to, that like keeps you kind of going, And there was parts of this one that I was like, oh no. And so then my bigger question over all of that then is that sort of what to expect with the OCs? Is theirs a lot more like Buckethead, where you're kind of like, it's all about the experimentation, and there's a very eclectic audience that only, a handful of people are like that get it or appreciate it, that are in on the what they're doing? Or is it just truly just them experimenting, and maybe they could get some feedback on it? I don't know which of those two, but does that make sense?
No, I think you and I are on the exact same page. So I agree. So I would be interested to hear something else that was tighter from him. I agree with you. Totally agree. There's parts I like the guitar solo. I like the driving drum, and it was fun to like. Again, there was parts that was fun, but out of a 7.5 minute song, not all 7.5 minutes. So we like though listening to songs that we never otherwise would listen to. So this is not a slag on Mushroom or anyone who's a fan of the OCs. It's just that this is our first time hearing them. It was a lot to take in, maybe. We don't know their style or their flavor. But I would be interested in hearing a more, I hate the term accessible, but it is a tighter song maybe,
Mm-hmm.
where they don't quite experiment as much or jam as long with just nothing quite crescendoing, if that makes sense. So, yeah.
Yeah, and again, I'm not trying to say that the only thing we like to listen to is the stuff that we enjoy.
No, we want to hear other stuff.
It's the same thing I would say to my students when we're reading literature or whatever. It's like if your whole point in reading literature is only finding stuff that you enjoy, well, you end up in a bubble and you don't really experience other forms of art, and you end up just, you kind of get the pat on the back for doing what you want to do all the time, and you don't really explore things. And so, as you've said and as I've said, the point of this channel is to explore, and that's what we did.
Absolutely. And I enjoyed that we did. I'm glad that we did.
Yeah.
And Mushtomb said that there is an album that's the tightest thing they've ever done, just like we talked about, and he's going to, in the future, pledge that to us to listen to.
Cool.
So challenge accepted. That's why we actually do this. We say what we. This is why we're an honest channel. I don't know who's going to watch to the end here, but I'll say this for Mushtomb at the very least, is what we always tell the truth, because it guides the people that watch our channel, kind of guides them. Okay, that's what they like. That's what they don't like. That's what, it gears people like. We want to be challenged and hear things that we wouldn't experience, but then from that new type of sound or song, we'll then say, is there something else from this guy that, or girl, whatever band, that has the things we're looking for? Because maybe if not, then maybe we don't need to hear it anymore. But if they do, like he says, there is an album that's tight. They said the tightest they've ever done, more, I guess you could say, focused. So he's gonna challenge us on that. So
cool.
There you go.
Excellent. Yeah.
Thank you. Well.
Yeah, well, thank you, Mushtomb. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, we appreciate
and those who made it to the end of this video, thank you for listening to us drone on.
Yeah, that's a way to sell ourselves. Just drone on.
We'll see you on the next one.